Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your host from Columbus, Ohio, is Michael Kirk. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Supershow. As I record this, we are 6 days away from Plaid Saturday. So let's talk about Plaid Saturday weekend coming up. Festivities starting on the 28th and running through the 31st. Thursday. No additional news on Thursday. It's still going to be a match between Mallory the Destroyer, your current LFF Trios champion, and Prince Butters for that championship. Friday, the 29th. Flannel Friday. This is going to be a match card hosted by the boss, part of his monthly match card series, where essentially bragging rights matches will be held. The only match we know of so far that's been announced, the featured match, the Cannoli Anthony Perry versus Ken Fouché versus the big guy, Gary Schneider. The winner becomes a contender for the LFF Triad Championship and will face James Booker in a match along with one other opponent. We now know who that is. I will get to that a little bit later. That's Friday. Saturday will feature the Create a Competitor tournament that is the mainstay of Plaid Saturday. It'll also feature 5 matches. The first match is going to be the finals of the Cookies Fortune tournament. We have our finals determined. Last week we were waiting on the results of the match between Matt Nealon using himself and Chris Pate using X-Royce. The winner of that match was Chris Pate. Chris Pate using X-Royce will take on Bob Dunn using Robert the Brain Dunn in the opening match of Plaid Saturday 3, January 30th. The winner will receive the Cookies Fortune, the ability to make a championship match for any championship you want, anytime you want. I believe there's a 6-month deadline. You must use it within 6 months of receiving it. But that will be the opening match. The other matches on the match card for the actual Saturday of Plaid Saturday 3 are the LFF World Heavyweight Championship. John Polverino will defend against Kirk Polka in a standard no stipulation match. We're going to have a defense of the Underworld Championship. The current champion Matt Nealon will defend against Peppy Pepper in a ladder match. We'll have a U.S. Championship match. Alex Flores, the champion, will defend against King Cold. We will have the finals of the Midwest Coast Tournament to determine the inaugural Midwest Coast champion. We have the semifinals of that tournament already. The 2 semifinal matches will be the Roach, Noel Torres, taking on the Judge, Tim Riley. The other match will see the Cannoli, Anthony Perry, taking on Bobby Motherlovin, Ohio. The match between the Roach and the Judge is actually supposed to take place as I'm recording this. So if that result is announced before the show is done, I'll give it to you. Otherwise, I'll have to give it to you with next week's show when we actually talk about the winners of that tournament. Because the tournament will be wrapped up before next week's show. If I can give it to you, I will. If not, it'll have to be next week. We still don't know anything about the LFF Tornado Tag Team match. We know that the current champion, Katie Kitty, will be defending, but we do not have an opponent announced for her yet. The opponent has been chosen. She will not know who the opponent is prior to the match. She will know who the competitor that opponent is using will be prior to the match. So there will at least be some knowledge for the champion going into that match. And then Sunday, we will have Rumble at the Rumble 3. I'll talk about the signups for that. Rumble at the Rumble 3 will be an in-person tournament at Highlander Games in Boonton, New Jersey. There are also the Create a Competitor lotteries. These are lotteries where you will sign up. The participants will be given numbers 1 through 30 randomly. Those numbers will correspond to entrants in the men's or women's Royal Rumble tournament hosted by WWE. If your entrant number wins the Royal Rumble, you will receive a prize, either a Create a Competitor, or there are a couple of the lottery raffles that have AJ Styles competitor sets as prizes. They were going to open up lotteries based on additional subs for the Twitch channel. They are still trying to reach that goal. However, I did see them open up 2 more lotteries, the men's and a women's. At the time I'm recording this, the men's has sold out, but there are still spots available in the women's lottery. So there is still a women's Royal Rumble lottery for a chance at a Create a Competitor. If you're interested in that, I would suggest going to supershowthegame.com and buying that, because I do not know how long those will last. That is all the news I have right now regarding Plaid Saturday 3 coming up this weekend, the weekend of January 30th, 2021. I will give you the sign-up information for Rumble to Rumble 3 at the end of the show with all the other events, but I'm going to give you the sign-up information for Plaid Saturday 3. Now, there are still spots available if you want to play in the Create a Competitor tournament that is part of Plaid Saturday 3. $20 entrance fee. You're going to receive 3 promos: Sheep Shooter, Smack with a Shovel, and Big Ballers, which I believe is a new Trios card. It's going to be a World Cup in a day format, a group stage format, where you're going to be put in a group of 3 other players. You'll play those other 3, and based on your record, if you have a good enough record, you will move on to the top cut. There will be stipulations in the top cut. There are 4 competitors currently booked for this event: D2, Belinda, Snake Pit, and Gold Standard, as well as all the competitors that have been booked, upgraded, changed as part of 2020 Vision. 12:30 start time again on the 30th. I have not seen anything about submitting a deck list, but I might recommend having one ready in case they ask for it. But that is the sign-up detail for Plaid Saturday 3. You can sign up under the online events section under Shop on supershowthegame.com. Next, let me briefly touch on Faction Wars. We have the 4 teams that are moving on from Faction Wars into Phase 4. Last week I told you the Higher Class, Jog Squad, and the Line moved on. All the Dimes, the Rust Belt team, is the 4th team to be moving on to Phase 4. The only team that did not get a bye into Phase 3. Congratulations to them. That's all the detail I have on Faction Wars right now. I'll give you more when I know more. Let's talk about some title picture things. First off, I missed this when this happened, I believe, a week or 2 weeks ago. Mark Perry, the LFF Hardcore Champion, defended against Anthony Medvez. Anthony Medvez won that from a tournament between him, Sean Loeb, and Amy Deans. And from what I understand is a very short match. Mark Perry successfully defended. He is still the LFF Hardcore Champion. We have a finals in the LFF Tag Team Contender Tournament. This tournament's been going on for a long time. As of last week when I reported on this, I wasn't too sure about the stipulation, and we still need the losers bracket to conclude. It has concluded. The match will be the Transatlantic Express, Hold the Line Harry, and Jeremy Steigerwald taking on the winners of the losers bracket, well shit, Jacob Denmark and Evan Harris. There was a stipulation where either Transatlantic Express could afford to take one fall and stay alive, or they could make the match a winner-take-all match in the finals of this tournament, and if they win, they get to pick the stipulation against the LFF Tag Team Champions. They have elected to do that. So, this match will be a winner-take-all match. One fall to a finish. If the Transatlantic Express wins, they get to pick the stipulation against either McPeak Inc. or if McPeak Inc. somehow lose the belts between now and that match, whoever the current champions are. If she win the match, then they just play, I believe, a normal tag team match against the LFF Tag Team Champions. Speaking of the LFF Tag Team Champions, we've been waiting a long time for them to defend against Sage and Jay Flash. McPeak Inc., featuring Mac McPeak using Mac Attack, and Jeff McPeak using the Mark Jeff Bravo, took on Sage using Sage the Wiccan Witch, and Jay Flash using Jay Flash. And what was a pretty lopsided match, almost a squash match, McPeak Inc. successfully defends they are still the LFF Tag Team Champions. Next up, I mentioned earlier there's going to be a triad match on Flannel Friday for one of the two spots to face James Booker for the Triad Championship. Tuesday night before the dojo, the other match to determine a contender took place. Candyman using Ember Wolf, Michael Sanderson using Everybody, and Stephen Korniak using LED squared off in a triad match that ended up going to Crowd Meter 6. The winner, with a 17 on the finish at Crowd Meter 6, is Candyman. Candyman is going on to face James Booker and a contender yet to be determined in a triad championship match at some point in the future. Speaking of things I'm getting back to, I mentioned earlier there's going to be a defense of the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship as part of Plaid Saturday 3. While we don't know who Katie Kitty is facing, we know that the winner of that match is going to face off at some point in the future against Warren Skinner. Style Low is the next contender for the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship after Plaid Saturday resolves. Just have a couple things left before we go on to past tournaments. First, as a result of tournament wins from last week, Andrew Mechie got a membership ring challenge match against Steve Resk using the Beast Unchained stipulation, and Bob Dunn received the same challenge, only he had to use the sticks, steps, and chairs stipulation. Both men could either play for a membership ring if they did not have one, or they could play for a physical membership ring. Unfortunately, both men did not successfully defeat Steve Resk in those membership ring challenges. So neither one is getting either a ring if they didn't have one, or a physical ring if they had the ring card. Next, CCC news. Match 8 from round 1 of the 2020 CCC concluded. There were 3 people competing in this match. This match and match 9 will both be triple threats rather than fatal 4-ways, or triad rather than fatal 4-ways. We had the Dweeb, Johnny V, and the Man from Tomorrow. In third place, with 57 votes, was Johnny V. In second place, with 66 votes, was the Man from Tomorrow, and the winner, with 487 votes, was the Dweeb. The Dweeb will be moving on to round 2. Match 9, which, like all the other matches, will start Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, after Talk of the Universe, and run 48 hours to Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, will feature Harvey Luster, El Hombre Cybernetico, and the Plant-Based Bruiser. I do not know anything about El Hombre Cybernetico or the plant-based bruiser. Harvey Luster has been in the game since before I started playing. He is all about doing it for the ladies. He's a member of the New World Order, part of the group that is running Plaid Saturday 3. Plaid Saturday 3 is based out of their home base, Louisville, Kentucky. The descriptions for all three competitors are currently posted on the SRG Supershow discussion group, so check those out. And then if you want to vote for one of those three, you can vote. The link will be posted. You can vote once an hour, every hour. The final bit of news I need to talk about is an update on the New Japan Pro Wrestling set. We know there are 3 box sets. They revealed the competitors in the heavyweight box set, I believe. Okada, Naito, and Ibushi. But what I really want to talk about is the availability. They revealed that there are going to be 500 box sets available. Now, that's not 500 box sets of each of the 3 box sets. That's 500 total. And of that 500, they're going to make, I guess for contractual reasons or other things, 100 of those will not be available for sale. Essentially, there's only going to be about 130 of each box set available for sale. I am not happy with the extremely limited run. When I heard 500, it never occurred to me that the 500 will be essentially a third of that. Effectively, it wouldn't be 500, to be more like 130. To me, that is too limited. It is going to be a rush to try to get those sets. Because I know, for example, I would want to get all 3. I know other people are going to want to get all 3. And I just think 130 each is too small. I think the run's too small. They were talking on Talk of the Universe about making it Limit 2. I think Limit 2 is too high. I think you might have to do Limit 1. Because if you do Limit 2, you're essentially saying, in effect, maybe 65, 66 people in the community get the sets and everybody else is cut out. I think that's way too limited. I think for a set that we've been talking about for, I want to say 2 years, 2 years in the making, to set it up so maybe 130 people can get their hands on a full set, I think that's way too limited. I think that could cause a lot of upset, of hurt feelings, because I know that this set's been hyped. The bigger the hype, the bigger the disappointment if you can't get it. And I feel like this is almost a set where, with as limited as it is, many of the people, maybe the majority of the people who want these cards will not be able to get them. And I think that could be really, really bad for the game. One of the things I've thought before is that one of the benefits of getting a license like this, the New Japan Pro Wrestling license, is that you'll be able to open your card game up to a new market. You'll be able to reach out to New Japan fans who may also be a fan of gaming, who can now combine those two loves. To me, with a print run this low, there's no way you're opening up a new market. Because from my perspective, when these go on sale, they're going to get snatched up almost immediately by the existing player base. There aren't going to really be any left to sell to other people, to market to a wider audience. These are going to be released, and then they're going to be gone in an instant. I hope that when these become available for sale, there's plenty of notice. John Calais did mention on Talk of the Universe there would be at least a 15-minute announcement before these go on sale. I almost think that is too tight, because I don't want to be a situation like the original Creative Competitor lotteries where they were announced on the dojo. And if you weren't watching the dojo that Tuesday, you missed out on the first 4 of them, especially the first 2 creative competitor lotteries. And I hope their website's ready, because I can see that website being slammed. I could see people trying to make online purchases and getting timed out and missing out when it releases. So I hope they are ready for this, because I feel like this could be bad. I feel like a lot of people could be set up to be disappointed here, because they really, really want these competitor sets, and they could be sold out in a flash. And while I know people said limit 2 because couples, multiple players in a household, that makes sense, I'm thinking limit 1, just because I feel like if you made it limit 2, you're talking about 65 to 70 people in the community getting this set, and to me that is way too low. You are setting up a situation where you will have a huge amount of people in the community who are disappointed because they have been waiting for the set for so long, and I feel like this thing could just sell out instantly. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm going to try to get my hands on one. I know I'll be greatly disappointed if I miss out, because as they've said, when this thing sells, it's probably never coming back, which is why it is an even greater disappointment that the run is so small. I would almost have recommended, knowing the run was this small, to not even do it, because I don't know if the benefits of working with a company like New Japan and establishing that relationship and the potential future benefit that may give is worth the short-term negatives of making the community, making your player base mad at you because a hyped up set has such a small print run, almost nobody who wants it can get it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be plenty of sets available. Maybe nobody will go without a set. But as of right now, I think that's a concern, and I would recommend limit 1 per household, not 2. Limit 1 per account, not 2, because I think that the disappointment could be off the charts. And that's going to do it for the main non-tournament news this week. Before we go on to tournaments, I mentioned it last week, I'll mention it again here. I am spinning off the competitor review into its own show. If you're interested in coming on with me and talking about a competitor, reach out to me, outlawmudcast@gmail.com, Facebook Messenger. Let me know that you're interested in coming on, and we will schedule something. I have a couple shows lined up so far. Still looking for more people to come on. Feel free to come on. Any competitor you want to talk about, we will talk about it. Just let me know. Tournaments. Sunday night, last week, the 17th, Brian Waitford-Schmidt had a pop-up tournament. I don't have a lot of information on this tournament, but the winner of the tournament, Chris Pate, using Yasmin. Congratulations to him. Side note, the person behind Yasmin, recently got married. Just like to say congratulations to her on her marriage. Monday, Proving Ground Tournament. All of the matches in this tournament were Beast Unchained matches. The top 4 were in 4th place, using Kid Fresh, Ken Fouché. In 3rd place, using the one above all, Brian Waitford-Schmidt. The finalists were Bob Dunn, using Dr. J. Kill, and Chris Pate, using Yasmin. And the winner was Bob Dunn. This was the match that allowed him to challenge Steve Resk for the membership ring. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, he did not win that match, but still congratulations to him for getting to that match. Next up, Thursday, Chibi's Seed of Power 4. This was a group stage tournament. The top cut saw Ring of Fire matches for the quarterfinals, tables matches for the semifinals, and main event matches for the finals. In fourth place, using the Director of Operations, David Marisak, was Andrew Mechie. In third place, using Terra, Jeremy Steigerwald. The finals were John Polverino, Press 1P, using Shadow Phoenix, taking on the Grump, Danny Thunder, using Uncle Awesome, and the winner, Press 1P, John Polverino. But the Grump still making a great showing, using competitors that are not used very often, that are kind of seen as weaker competitors. The Grump continues to have success with those type of competitors. Saturday, we have a tournament hosted by Loudmouth Leo Larynx as the tag team GM to determine another contender for the LFF Tag Team Championship. 18 teams entered. They cut to a top 6. The finals were a triple threat tag match. We saw the Boardwalk Bullies. This is a team featuring Vic and Rick Vandal. Vic Vandal using Jupiter, Rick Vandal using Merlin von Berlin. Take on the Vegas Invaders, featuring Eddie Fury using Jacques and Salty Sailor using Jokerfish, and the Dread Pirates of Texas, Simon Strauss using the Duke, and Stephen Owen using Johnny Eldorado. The winner of this tournament at Crowd Meter 2 was the Dread Pirates of Texas. Congratulations to them. I do need to talk about the team that Vegas Invaders was using because this did come up on the discussion group. Jacques A and Jokerfish. I'm just going to go from memory here, but Jokerfish's gimmick is when he rolls power, agility, or submission for his turn roll, he would choose one of the two opponents, they would flip a card, and then Jokerfish would bury a card from that opponent's discard pile. Jacques' gimmick is when an opponent would move a card from the discard pile to another location via either a card or a gimmick, they randomly bury one card in their hand. So to recap, Jokerfish's gimmick, which should trigger approximately 50% of the time, when it triggers, it will also trigger Jacques' gimmick. And so it has a high hand destruction capability. It is a very nasty combo. One of the nastiest combos I've seen in quite a while. A very negative play experience combo. Now, if you remember when I talked about Jacques, I can't remember what episode it was, I pointed out that in my opinion, when the opponent moves the card should be when the opponent actually does something, that the Jacques player should not be able to move cards and trigger Jacques' gimmick. The Jacques player shouldn't be able to play a card like Cosmic Punch, which allows him to bury cards in his opponent's discard pile and then triggers gimmick. To me, this is even worse because now Jacques' tag team partner is moving the cards and it's triggering Jacques' gimmick. Because of the way tag teams work right now, neither of these gimmicks have to be targeted at a certain player. So you can literally, with Jacques and Jokerfish, destroy one competitor's hand and then go to that competitor's partner, destroy his hand. So now both of your opponents, in just a few turn rolls, can have no cards in their hand, no cards in their discard pile, and it's off to the races. And even, I think, even making it so you have to choose one competitor still keeps them really strong because you'll be able to target one of your opponents with both destroy that opponent's hand, get him to where he has no cards in hand, and then just hit cards against him, and put the partner in a situation where he would have to stop finishes or devastating cards, hit on his partner, or potentially hit on his partner, and then bury his whole hand, so now they're both vulnerable. So Jacques and Jokerfish is a very powerful, very devastating tag team. I don't know what that's going to do for the future. I don't know how that's going to affect anything, if that tag team is going to be allowed to stand and continue to be played as is, or if they will make changes to that team. But as of right now, that is an incredibly ugly, powerful, disgusting, negative play experience tag team. I'm shocked they didn't win at all, but the triple threat might have essentially neutralized them enough to where that's why they didn't win. I did not get to see the match, but that is one of the grossest tag teams I've ever read about. And I just needed to bring that up because that was a topic of discussion on the Facebook group. That's going to do it for the past tournaments. As I'm recording this, Brian Waitford Schmidt is hosting another pop-up tournament. It's going to have 4 bullet rounds. The top cut will be New York rules. And if matches go over 15 minutes, the crowd meter will be increased by +1. That's Sunday. Monday night, we have the Dread Pirate Proving Ground. $5 entrance fee, scheduled to start at 7 p.m. Psycho Circus matches. It's going to be bullet rounds from 7 to 9, and then cut to a top 4. When you win, you'll get 3 points. Second and third will be 1 point. So they've changed that a bit. They used to be 2 points for second, 1 for third. Now they're 1 point each. When you hit 15 points, you will no longer be eligible for prizes. You must pay the prizes forward. That's what's going on Monday. Thursday, we have the Win a Boss Waddy Ring Challenge hosted by Chibi. Also a $5 entrance fee. 28th at 7:30 p.m. Not sure if this is going to be before, after, or during the Trios Championship match. I'm assuming after. But this is a tournament where the winner will get to face Steve Resk in a membership ring challenge match to be played at some point in the future, where the winner will get a shot at, I believe, either a membership ring, or if you have the ring already, the card that is, you can get a physical ring, or potentially pay that forward. I'm not 100% on that. You must submit a deck list to Chibi by 6 p.m. through Facebook. 32 spots from what I can tell. 8 pods of 4. Top 2 of each pod advancing. All of the matches in the top cut will be Liger's Den. And then, of course, Saturday is Plaid Saturday. I already gave you the details there. $20 entrance fee. 12:30 start time. Create a competitor tournament. And then we have the one live event taking place at Highlander Games in Boonton, New Jersey. Rumble at the Rumble 3. This is also a Create a Competitor tournament. $25 entrance fee. There are only 40 spots available due to health restrictions. Snake Pit, Belinda, EC3, X-Royce, and D2 are banned. In addition to this tournament, there will also be a payoff pack grand battle. You buy a sealed payoff pack, you open it, you build a 30-card deck, pick a competitor from that pack, entrance card, spectacle, and then you play that deck in the tournament using the grand battle stipulation. 1 p.m. start time on that, taking place on the 31st of January. That is going to do it for this week's show. I'd like to thank all of you for listening, and good day.